Now, understanding the smart money framework and understanding that, things will make the bottoms and tops, and the bottom to top is formed and the distance is formed and all of that, you get 3 stats to derive from once you've locked in your point of entry and your maximum point reached. And what are those 3 stats? The first most important thing for every trader is when you enter your trade, you need to know how much move is left. In other words, what we call open equity. 80% of the time, how much move is left. 50% of the time, how much move is left. And 20% of the time, how much move is left. Why do we look at that? Because we can develop strategies based on those target points. And let me remind you back again on scenario 1 and 2. What I'm saying here is this critical number, which I'm going to bring up TradingView and show you what we have programmed, and you can put up any chart and we can find that is this maximum point. Where does it go before it goes against you or before it continues further? 80% of the time, 50% of the time, and 20% of the time. Think about it like runners in a race, right? So you got 1,000 runners starting from point A, right? Most of them, you will agree with me, will reach the shortest distance. Is that right? Whether they are obese or thin or fit or unfit or whatsoever, they will reach at least the 1 kilometer mark. Am I right to say most of them? Right? But when you get to the halfway point, let's say 20 kilometers, right? 15 kilometers, would we expect a bigger drop-off? Am I right to say that? Likewise in the markets, right? That's why this fantasizing that, okay, it's going against me, but it'll keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. That's a fantasy, right? If you really think about in terms of probabilities and percentages, the real big runners, traders, is only about 5 to 10% of them. And this is the reason why you guys are making the profits, but then giving it back by not having these numbers in front of you. And let me show you what we have done. So we're understanding all the smart money framework and then coding all of this in. What we have now on TradingView is this, right? So now that you guys got a rough understanding, where does this all go to in the future is this. So let me just bring up the TradingView stuff. So we'll go on to the daily time frame now, this one here. You can see GBP/USD here. Let me just shrink it a little bit. So let me just go through with you what you're really seeing, and then we'll take a look at the table together. Yeah? So what we got over here, if you see can you all see the blue and the orange arrows? Can you all see that? Yeah, over here. So that one there is our bottoms and tops, right? Now, when does the bottom get confirmed? Is by the blue dot, and the orange dot signifies the top. Remember what I was talking about before? And why do we need to think in terms of a confirmed top and bottom? To lock in your point of entry, right? Because remember, as a swing trader, what's your ideal scenario? What are you really looking for? You're really looking for as early as possible when the top confirms and to ride that move down, right? Because that's where the largest move is left. Open equity, open profit, okay? So that's all they did. So over here, once I've locked that in, and over here, we have overlaid that with the, if you can see all these dots over here, that is with Gavin's company over there, Trade Guider, with the VSA light, which is the volume indicator. I'll come to that in a minute. But looking to understand the open equity over here, all this is saying is, can you see all the numbers here? 45, 14, 175, can you see that? Yeah? All that is doing is, as we talked about over here, is analyzing the maximum point that it reached, which is equivalent to the 400, right? Our maximum point is always a turning point, bottoms and tops, based on cycle framework. So all this is doing is, I'll show you one example on how it's measuring it. Then we'll take a look at the table together. So all that is doing is, I'll show you over here one. Yeah, this move completed, isn't it? Let me just hide the table for a minute. We'll put the table up in a minute. I'll use the replay mode here. Right, so you can see that. So when you see the dot, remember what I said, point of entry. You lock in your point of entry. Where is the exact point of entry on the dot? The quant traders always did it, which is also practical and reasonable, on the close of the confirmation bar. Remember, the dot is the confirmation bar. The confirmation bar is the bar that confirms the top or the bottom. So in this case, this, you guys tell me, this orange dot, what did it confirm? The top or the bottom? The top, right? So my point of entry, the starting point, the A, the starting point A for the runner, the starting point of the race, starts at the close of the confirmation bar. The close, to be exact, of this bar is 1.2585. It's all the way there. I don't expect you guys to read that unless you got extra supervision. So that's 1.2585. Okay, let me just put that. Yeah, I think we got that almost, isn't it? 0. Great, so we got that. So we got the start point done. Now, when does this run finish for this runner? Is until we get another turning point, which should be a bottom, isn't it not? So we keep playing that. Let's see what happens. So the runner keeps going. He paused for a bit here on a blue bar, but he kept continuing on, taking out that low, keep going on further. Let's see where it then stops. You see now, this is the point that people will get scared, right? Or it's going against me. But with knowing this data and understanding bottoms and tops and potential bottom, confirmed bottom, and quantifying the cycles, you won't get that as long as you got the data in front of you. So then you hold on to that. It still hasn't confirmed. It still hasn't confirmed that bottom yet. And then it took out that low and it's still continuing on further. Then it's stopping again. It's what you guys call a low test bar, right? Or potential turning point. Then it keeps going down further. And where does it end? Let's see when the bottom gets confirmed according to these formulas and framework. It still didn't confirm that bottom. Still carrying on further down. There you go. And that's the one that confirmed the bottom. Now, in measuring the stats, right, for this runner which ran, I put a green line there. So you're measuring the distance between this starting point, which is the top confirmation point. Remember, point of entry locked in, to your maximum point also locked in. Sorry, the green line should be here, right? Should be the low of this one here. Maximum point reached. That's about 545 pips. Exactly, that's 548. Can you all see that? Follow me so far? Right? Yeah? That's your point of entry and maximum point reached. And that's how you're getting this data for this only runner, for this run, is 548. Okay? Likewise, you keep doing it for everything. 175 for this one, 14 for this, some are smaller, some are bigger, all okay. And then what do you then do? You gather all this data and you put it into a table, an open equity table, which is, once I click on over here, it starts to populate it. Now, one interesting thing, which is quite inspiring, is that the guy who coded all of this on the TradingView was just one guy who was just sitting there in the conference room, just like you guys, who came onto our programs, learned all of this, so inspired, and he said, you know what, Thiru, I'm going to code all of this on the TradingView, and that's what we got. So really proud to say that, because we can see that our product, when you know something works, that's when it inspires your own community to uplift everybody else in the community as well, right? And likewise, I mean, I'm sure Gavin has got so many traders like that as well. I've seen how your community grows as well, if everybody else helping towards that growth. So what you have here on the open equity table, which we have in a multiple of seconds, in fact, all it's saying is, I'll show you that the settings here, they're checking over 2010 all the way to 2030, but of course it will check on 2023, right? Because 2030 hasn't happened. So it's over 13 years that it's checking, right? On the daily time frame. We can do this on any time frame. I'm just showing you as an example on the daily, okay? Now, over here, what it's saying is that there's 426 swings it's measuring, okay? All these dots. In other words, there's 426 dots, blue dots and orange dots, yeah? Okay, 426 dots. Or in other words, if you like the runner example, you can say there's 426 runners altogether. Okay, over the last 13 years. And out of that 426 runners, it is saying that 365 of them ran more than or equal to 25 meters, or in this example is pips, right? 25 pips. So in other words, in percentage-wise, 365 divided by 426, that is 85% of the time they run 25 pips, okay? Now, usually, as I mentioned to you in the slide before, that we look at three numbers, right, to develop our strategies, 80, 50, and 20. So the first point then is from here, 80% of the time is 25, 50% of the time, what is it? It's about 150, if you guys can see that, yeah? And then 20% of the time is 300. By analyzing this over 13 years on the daily time frame. Everyone okay so far? But all this is only possible because why? We've locked in the point of entry and the maximum point reached. And how do we lock in those 2 points? By quantifying what a top or a bottom is. Making sense? Yeah. Super smart guys, this guys, the way they did it step by step, you know, to finally get all of this and to get into a structured framework. And most of the time when I usually show this, and I'm sure you guys won't do this, you guys are smarter than the common public, which is most of the time when I show this, most people always say, dude, I'm getting excited. Can I just buy and sell on every dot that comes in? And you all know the answer to that. Of course not. This is not a buy and sell indicator. And me and Gavin, we always repeat that every webinar that we do. This is not a buy and sell. Of course, if it was that simple, everybody will go and buy and sell at the same place. Of course not, right? No, the work that you got to do is in selection and how you construct your strategies, which we'll come to in a minute. Yeah. So far, we are okay with the first stats. So this is just stats. So don't confuse this with a strategy. Okay. This is just stats at the moment. Just like saying, you know, if I give you an engine of a car, doesn't mean that's the car, is it? Right? You still got to put the clutch in, you still got to put the brake, you got to put the wheels, then it's a car, right? Likewise, this is just you can consider this the engine is a very important, pivotal, statistical part to help you exit better. Okay? So we are good with this one here. So that's the first part. That's the first stats that you can derive from the framework. All right? From the framework. So that's the open equity part. Yeah, everybody more or less getting along with it, right? I can see you all understanding with it. If you want to get notified every time we put a video up, especially on our live trading update videos, hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications icon. This will get the YouTube algos to kick in and for you to join us in our mission to spread the truth of trading further so that traders like you can benefit from our videos to trade like a master, achieve consistent performance, and change lives.